But his mother doesn't miss a fight. She's in the crowd along with all his brothers and sisters. Emotions on high for El-Mir. And here we go. Mohammed El-Mir in the white gloves. Simon Santana in the black.
You're going to see El-Mir use a little bit more pressure. He doesn't like to move back too much, where Santana's going to fight a little bit more on the outside and use his counters.
Simon Santana says he's a combination of a fighter, attacker, and counter-attacker. Believes his explosiveness and stamina will be too much for the Danish fighter.
It looks like one of his strategies is to fight El-Mir on angles, because El-Mir is one of those pressure fighters who likes to control the center of the ring.
Flying knee there from El-Mir, who gets his right hand caught behind the rope for a second. That could have been very dangerous. In El-Mir's last fight against Sergey Adamchuk, Joe, he only landed 2 punches going into the 3rd round, but says he's been working on that part of his game.
Yeah, Adamchuk's a tricky fighter, so that's very difficult for anyone. It's going to be a little bit easier for El-Mir to land his punches today.
Come to neutral corner. Neutral corner. Corner. Come on.
Simon Santana, who's a carpenter when he's not fighting. Hopes to carve out a masterpiece here. And this, his glory debut, let us not forget that. A big moment for him as well. And as great a story as Mohammed El-Mir has about all the things going on in his family life, let us not forget that this is a dream come true for Simon Santana. And a right hand connects there from El-Mir. Santana not too fazed by it.
No, Santana's doing a better job at throwing combinations on the outside, but when El-Mir throws, he's doing the damage. There's those angles again from Santana trying to step out to his right.
A big roundhouse right, and El-Mir is on wobbly knees now. And here goes Simon Santana.
But there's El-Mir's mentality to sit there and keep fighting back.
A big moment in this fight, and El-Mir has weathered the storm, at least for now. But some surprising power from Santana, who only has 6 knockouts in his 27 wins. And there's another big right.
Yeah, he keeps finding that right hand. Maybe that's why he's continuing to step out on that right angle to land that right hand.
And a nervous quietness now has taken over the forum here in Copenhagen. Another overhand right connects for Santana. That's his go-to punch.
It's definitely slowing down El-Mir, making him think twice.
That's the bell, an impressive round 1, the first glory round of Simon Santana's career.
And it was a good round. He did really well. He started off a little bit slow, trying to throw combinations on the outside, but then he started finding those big right hands and caught El-Mir right off the chin, right over that hand, and that seems to be his best shot. He's constantly trying to take angles and throw that right hand, but he needs to start setting things up differently and not constantly rely on just on that right hand.
Here's our fighter profile for the Fury, Simon Santana.
Yeah, he's that combination style like you're seeing now. He doesn't like to always throw one. He is throwing that big right hand, but he likes to mix it in combinations. He is throwing low kicks, but El-Mir's doing a good job at blocking those. And as I mentioned on his walkout, he's a martial artist starting karate from the age of 7.
And his favorite strike is the low kick, which is also your favorite strike.
It is.
I know you like that.
Ready? Fight!
Round 2. So El-Mir now certainly backed up against the 8 ball, so to speak, after a rousing round 1 for Santana.
Those 1-2s down the middle from El-Mir are landing really well.
It was El-Mir who told us that he wasn't thinking about going to the judges. He went in a knockout, and that is not ruled a knockdown by Tobias Harris, our referee.
El-Mir's finding that right straight, right down the middle, right between that defense of Santana.
And that will be a knockdown, surely. No, it won't be. attention for Santana.
Yeah, both of those could have easily been called knockdowns.
Either way, they were scoring blows for El-Mir, who's certainly waking up and has woken up this crowd.
That straight right from El-Mir is landing every time. Santana's shoulders are really square and he's throwing looping punches, so that right hand of El-Mir is winning.
Looping punches are what's working for Santana. Straight punches are working for El-Mir. And for the third time in this round, Santana goes down, and it's not ruled an official knockdown. El-Mir really is letting it all hang out here. So much emotion and grief and excitement and anxiety flowing through the veins of El-Mir.
Santana keeps showing that he wants to throw a spinning attack. Nice kick to punch combination.
Remember, according to El-Mir, his career is on the line tonight. Lose and he retires. Win and he fights on. Is this a case of El-Mir just starting to figure out what he's facing now?
Well, I think he has to pick the pressure up. Santana was doing a good job at landing that right hand again, but El-Mir knows he needs to put the pressure on in order to get that knockdown, and that right hand's landing every time.
Spinning back fist. And that may have been too close to the elbow. Elbows are not legal here in Glory. 30 seconds to go in round two. A much better round for the man from Copenhagen as he works the body with that right hand.
El-Mir's conditioning looks really good. He's definitely put the work in the training.
Boy, this is going to shape up and set us up for a fantastic final round here. A knee to the ribcage for El-Mir. So in his 137th professional fight, El-Mir is starting to get the wheels turning here.
Yeah, that was a way better round for El-Mir, and he could have easily lost that first round, so his corner must have told him to pick up the pace in this second round, and it's that right hand that keeps landing. It was on the button that could have easily been called a knockdown. Let's see the second time that Santana goes down.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but both of those could have easily been scored knockdowns. Quite surprising that they weren't.
Well, those two, that third one I wouldn't call a knockdown. It looked like Mori was off balance and thrown to the floor, but those first two could have easily been called knockdowns.
One more time, Joe. It's a straight shot to the jaw. Boom, right there. And I guess the saving grace for Santana is that he was in the process of throwing a leg kick.
Yeah, it looked like he was more flash there on the way down than he tries to catch himself, but that could easily be called a knockdown.
Nevertheless, it was not a knockdown.
Which makes this third round interesting because that first round you can give to Santana.
Well, you would have to give it to Santana because he scored a knockdown in round one. Excuse me, he did not score a knockdown.
No, he wobbled El-Mir.
Wobbled him, correct. My apologies.
Which is why I gave Santana the first round where El-Mir dominated that second.
There's been so many fighters on the canvas, there had to be a knockdown in there somewhere, but I guess not. I'm just making things up in my brain. It's a mirage. 47 landed strikes for El-Mir, 46 for Santana.
Santana's a lot more active, but when El-Mir lands, they do damage. And Santana keeps hitting the canvas, whether it slips or off balances or knockdowns, he keeps ending up on the canvas.
El-Mir appears to be a little bit fresher, at least in the early going here of round three.
His conditioning looks impressive. Santana's really loading up on that big looping right hand.
And so many fighters or athletes, when they're fighting for a cause greater than themselves, like El-Mir is, fighting in the honor of his late father, that can work for you or work against you many times.
There's a lot of emotions in here, but El-Mir got warned for catching the low kick of Santana.
El-Mir told us it's impossible for him to lose this fight. And he's starting to act like it now. He's the bully going right after Santana. That right hand snuck in. Santana kind of wilted a little bit.
Yeah, El-Mir launches and throws big power punches and then clinches up and throws knees. This way he can defend against the counter punching.
Mouthpiece falls out. Tobias Harris thought about cleaning it. He'll wipe it on his pants, then drop it himself. Wipe it on his pants again. Good enough. Here we go. 42 seconds left. That was an obvious push.
I have El-Mir really winning this round so far. Santana wants to have a chance at winning this fight. Santana has to pick up the pace and combo and counter back.
There's an overhand right that grazes the nose in a second one, but they didn't land flush like they did in round one. That uppercut landed flush from El-Mir.
Santana has 20 seconds. If I were him, I'd start trying to throw that right hand, see if he can clip El-Mir.
And now El-Mir firing away. 10 seconds to go.
There's that
haymaker.
There's that right hand.
Oh, the right hand buckles Santana. El-Mir, and he eats a couple. They'll swing like Neanderthals to the end of round 3. What a fight! And Mohammed El-Mir thinks he's done enough to win it.
What a beautiful ending. Both guys really exchanging and really showing how much they want to put in to win this fight.
Mohammed El-Mir gets a standing ovation from his friends and family in attendance here, who believe certainly that their guy won this fight.
Well, regardless, he left it all into this ring. He put all his heart, his emotion, the pain, the suffering, and everything he threw in that fight, and it really showed.
He wanted the knockout, and he was fighting like he wanted the knockout there at the end of round 3.
He left it all out there, and he probably made a good pact to himself that all that emotion and the stress, and this was a perfect opportunity to get that all out of him and start his career again. So hopefully we see more of El-Mir.
Does El-Mir pick up win number 114? We shall see next. Still to come in our main event, it's Richard Abraham, who's not just looking for a win, he's looking for a KO. We spoke to him earlier here in Copenhagen.
Yeah, I got a prediction. A war, absolute war. Just all out, from start to finish, action. I'll tell you right now, we're just both going to go for it. I think he's going to go for it. I mean, this is like his opportunity, whatever the case may be. You know, I'm good for him, you know, but it doesn't matter who's in front of me right now. It has nothing to do with who's in front of me. It has all to do with just, I got this violence in me that's got to come out. I've had many tragedies happen in my life, and I'm not where I am today because I laid back and I felt poor me. I am where I am in my life is because I got up and I looked at it and I said, nah, that's not going to work for me, and I got back to work. With that, but the goal is to just absolutely dominate. Just absolutely dominate, knock out, or just completely dominate every second of it.
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights from this fight's action. And it was that early right hand of Santana that kept catching El-Mir, which I gave the first round to Santana. But El-Mir started picking up the pace, started landing straight rights of his own, and 2 questionable knockdowns that could have easily gone to El-Mir. But El-Mir showed great conditioning and constantly pushing the pace, landing some good punches. But that grit and that Simon Santana combo back kept throwing that big right hand, showing his will to win. But it feels like El-Mir feels like he won in front of his hometown.
Simon Santana also seems somewhat confident. Let's find out who's right as we look now at our final strikes by round. Obviously round 3 going to Mohammed El-Mir. Round 2, also the edge to the man from Denmark. Round 1, leaning towards the Norwegian. Tim Hughes with our official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 hard-fought rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard. All 5 of our ringside judges see about the same and score it 29-28 for your winner by unanimous decision, Mohammed El-Mir.
A great moment for Mohammed